YouTubers, welcome to another general vlog video. It's a little later than it was the last couple nights that I've been showing this. Got a little bit of work done. It don't look the best right now because I'm letting the drywall mud dry, and I don't sand because I'm also living in this area in the home itself. So I don't want dust everywhere. So I'll let it dry for about another hour or so, and then I'll take a damp sponge and go over it and it'll smooth it down to where I can work with it. Remember, I am texturing the walls, so it doesn't have to be perfect. But I got my makeshift window trim around. I know it looks like crap right now because it's been mudded to fill in a little bit of a gap that was right here. Not much. That's completely smooth. And my whole idea was, since these are standard, let's get you back over here on the window. Since these are standard house windows, and this is a 1963 mobile home that only has 1.5 inch thick walls, the windows protrudes through quite a bit. To where normally when this is in a home, this is flush with the wall, and you trim from here, like from here over to here. So, you've got a 3.5 inch, piece of trim, which looks normal. Well, since this protrudes, I was able to take a thinner furring strip, which is, I think, roughly 2.5 inches wide. I think it's called a 1x3. No, actually, this would be a 1x2. So this is 1.75 inches, 1.5 inches wide. But when it matches with this, the plastic on the regular window that is normally flush in a home, which protrudes in a trailer with an 1.5 inch wall, it gave me the width that I needed, if that makes any sense. And I did that all the way around. And then I added my spice shelf back on the top. I was going to, and see, that's tight. My hand's wiggling, not the shelf. The shelf might be moving just a hair, but not much. I did not glue it. I normally glue them, but I wanted to make sure I need to go get my spices first to make sure that they're not too wide, because I did go down to a thinner board on top of there. They had a little ledge on top of it before, and when I first moved in, my first thought was, hey, spices would be great up there. Now, I'm a bachelor, so honestly, I don't use a ton of spices, but I do use spices. But I bought enough to fill that whole area, and I like the looks. So I decided to put one back up, just a little narrower, not quite as thick. But anyways, that's that. It'll look good once it's sanded. Well, not sanded, but sponged down, smooth, everything painted. The trim will go white. The walls will go kind of a beige color. I don't even remember the name of the color. It's kind of really hard to see in here what color it actually is. It's like mocha or something like that. Anyways, I haven't taken the trim down yet because these are all be seamless. I did take the one trim down that was here. I told you yesterday or last night that I was going to replace that piece of wood. And I actually did, and I didn't have to. It was loose from the board below the window. And it had some layering, some of the top layer peeled off of it. But since I wanted to take that from a horizontal to a vertical, is that right? Or vertical to horizontal? I think vertical was up and down. Anyways, it used to lay side to side. I didn't like it, and it was up a little bit too high because my table, my kitchen table, comes up to about right here. Well, that was up here sideways, and I think it was over here. Anyways, I wasn't able to go right to the center of the bottom of the window because by standing it up, I lost room on the wiring, and I didn't want to have to run new wire, pull out more wall to find where it hooks to. Yada, 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 blah, 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 blah. It's good enough for me. It's hidden behind a table, but I do actually use it. The table sits here. I know you can't see it. Oh, it's actually pouring down rain. I see it now. But you can't actually see outside, but I have a beautiful view outside. Of course, the lake's out there and everything. And I do sit here at the kitchen table with a laptop, and I need to charge my phone, or I use my printer or the laptop. Something always needs to be charged. So I did want that plug there. I do have to change the plug because it does not have a ground on it. But there is ground on the back of the plugs. But none of the original plugs have a place for the ground. But yet there is ground on the plugs. They didn't have a place for the ground to go on the plug, so they put it just around the screw, like right here. Well, of course, I've got mud over everything. But right here, that screw, they just kind of wrapped it around it in the back. So I'm putting in modern plugs, and they work out perfect. They're grounded. And then where that, I told you, at one time it looks like there may have been a bar, a corner shelf, or something. It's too low to be a bar, I think. Anyways, I did get that mudded on that one. I haven't there yet. And then I did the same thing here. I took out the bottom trim piece there. And I did tell you last night that this is a drywall wall. And it kind of shocked me. Surprised me to see that. Yeah, it's not original. The original is back behind it. So I'm not really sure why they did that, but God bless them for doing it, because right there in that corner, if I stand back, that window and that window right there, if I had a window right there in the corner, look perfect onto the lake. Well, when that lake freezes, that's like an air conditioner. So that extra layer of wall really helps. I should do it to this wall, but when I pulled all that out, there was no insulation. Well, the insulation had fell. People had taken it out when they did other work from the outside. The bottom, I did just kind of skim it a little bit. Once again, paneling, as we know, and I don't see a piece of it laying around here that I could show you. But like over here, paneling will start layering. Like, see that? Like the top layer start coming off of it. Actually, that was just a piece of paper or something stuck there. But that's all that it was down there at the bottom. But it was loose away from the wall. And I thought, oh, wow, I bet all that down there is rotten. No, it was not. It had just come loose from the wall. The nails that they use on this are headless nails. Or if they do have a head, they're really just micro small. And throughout the time, this is an 1.5-inch wall. So when the wind blows really hard, the wall does move. It does flex. Even though you don't really see it, it does. So when you use even a nail like this right here that used to hang a clock, even when you use a regular painted nail like that, if the wall's flexing any at all, that's going to come right through that. So I used the trusty little nail gun there with, boy, I bet I'm making you guys dizzy swinging around, with the staples. And that kind of gives it a little bit more room. But basically what had happened also, there was some water damage in there. Back in the 50s and 60s and even late 40s, a lot of the mobile homes, and I don't know why they did this, because they were basically started out as campers. And then they just started getting a little bigger and a little bigger and a little bigger where they weren't quite so mobile. And hence come a trailer. They run a vertical, and here we go with that vertical horizontal thing again. I'm pretty sure horizontal is side to side. And everybody there is shaking their head saying, yes, dummy, it is, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, they would run a horizontal at the bottom and then come up a couple foot and then run a vertical on top of that. Well, when they did, they had this like little band board, trim board. It's not a board, it's a piece of metal, to transition from laying sideways to standing up, from vertical to horizontal, or horizontal to vertical, whichever. And anyways, they used this type of, it's almost like Play-Doh. It's just a putty tape that goes in there. Well, throughout the years, since 1963 to now, that has gone and dried and fell out. I did notice when they painted the mobile home about 2 years ago, a little before the time that I bought it, I think the summer before I bought it, they painted it gray. I kind of like it, and it looks like they did caulk it. I did go back over it and then paint over top of the caulking and did a little bit better. So that's all taken care of now. And the water damage was very minor. I did the same thing over here to this window. Like I said, until I get it sponged off, it's not going to look good. But basically, if I would have used a wide piece of trim, which I don't have any in here, But if I'd have used let me grab my tape measure here. If I would have used like the fern strip that's up here on top is 2.5 inches wide. If I would have used that 2.5 inches, that trim would have come way out here. Which now we are looking at kind of a scale size. This kitchen is approximately 10 foot by 10 foot. Actual size is like 9.8 by 9.8 or by 10 or whatever. And then you take the cabinets, which stick out a couple foot. You know, my actual walking space, living space, so to speak, in here is like an 8 by 8 by 9. When you start running wide trim and everything, like the day before I showed you, if you go back to the previous video, and no, I can't link it for you or anything. I can't edit. I'm not there yet. But anyways, it stuck way out here and was really wide. And it just looked out of scale. It looked out of size in here. So now I've got it down to where I'm happy with it. I mean, quite frankly, it's all going to be covered with blinds and curtains anyways. So, you know, really, who cares? But it'll be painted nice, bright white. I did see that right here, I have a little bit of that whole line is like double face tape that's lost its sticky on this side. I think I'm going to have a hard time getting that off there, but I will get it off. Heat gun does wonders. And then we come over here, and boom, that window is now gone. And I actually found the piece that they cut out of that wall for that window. And it was in a shed. The shed is no longer on this property. Well, it's no longer anywhere. I tore it down and recycled it. Anyways, it was in there, and for some reason I hoarded it. I don't know why. And I just happened to find it over in my garage today, and I thought, you know, I'll just put that piece back in. But as you can see, this whole back wall is going to get textured for now. Now, eventually I'm going to put up some type of a backsplash, whether it be like corrugated roofing material, which I've also made a headboard out of, which actually, now that I think about it, really sounds like that would really look good up there. And I may think that. But I didn't need that window back here. I don't want to look at the trailer 15 foot past that window. They don't want to watch me do my dishes. Yeah, I don't spend a lot of time doing dishes. If I did, I would love for the sink to be right there so I could look out the window as I'm doing dishes, but I don't need that. So it's gone. So we'll let that dry up, and I just did that like 15 minutes ago. We'll let that dry up. I hope that light is not blinding you. If it is, I do apologize. But it's gone. And basically what I did is I showed and told you before, there was 2 pieces of plexiglass. I could put my hand on it, and it wasn't cold when it was 28 degrees outside. It wasn't ice cold. I didn't feel any air, but I didn't want the window. So by trying to take the piece of plexiglass that faces in towards the kitchen out, I broke it, of course. It was real thin, and it was already frosted, so you couldn't see through it anyways. So basically, I knew I wanted to close it in. So I painted the window gray. I know that sounds really bad, but I wanted to put insulation in there, and I didn't want my neighbors to have to come out their door and look up and say, "Ooh, what is that? Pink insulation up against a gray mobile home?" So yeah, there is still white trim on the outside around the window, but at least I painted the window gray, so it doesn't look as horrible to them, because we're in the dead middle of winter. It's a couple days after Christmas, like 27th, 28th. I'm not getting out there and working on it in the winter. So now it's all sealed up. It's insulated and everything. It looks fairly decent on the outside. I can finish doing all this that I want to do on the inside, and I'll worry about that next summer. And that will be the only thing that I will have left to do next summer, is to replace the outside trim on this window. This outside trim, because there's an overhang out there, is good. It just needs to be painted. Get rid of this trim on the outside, fill the hole in with metal, and make sure it's insulated great, which I know that it is. And I got stuff all over my hands from the drywall mud. So I'll wash that off real quick. Excuse you want to see that. You might not know how to wash your hands, so I'm going to show you. Not really. But anyways, and the same thing goes with my living room window. This one here doesn't have trim on the outside. It has like a metal style trim, and it doesn't need anything. I've already painted it. This one has a wooden trim around it. Yeah, definitely need to get rid of the Christmas stuff now, right? But anyways, I need to do that. I don't remember if I need to replace it or if I need to paint it or what I need to do. And actually, it may not even have wooden trim around it. Maybe metal trim. It may just need to be painted. And then in my two kids' bedrooms, which are right down this hall, those windows are okay. The bathroom window has once again been gotten rid of. I didn't do it. They put a tub surround in and closed the window off with the tub surround. But they just left the window outside. I could leave that. It don't look that bad, but that's not my style, so I'm not going to do that. So I basically plan on taking that window out and insulating it and putting metal in it. Because once again, if you're in that bathroom and you're taking a shower, you're 10 to 15 foot away from your neighbor's back door. So if they walk out that back door and you've got a window and it's not frosted or have a blind over it or something, which is weird in a shower, the blind that is, then they can see right in, which I don't really care. But the window's not there. I don't want to cut the surround out for it. And then once again, in the other bedroom, which is something we'll talk about eventually, which is all the way down there at the end. You can see the door open. I'm not taking you back there because right now that's my workshop. And that's a piece of Luan laying up there against that. But anyways, they've done away with one of the windows in there that faced the neighbor. I didn't even know it existed because they paneled right over top of it. One day I was outside. I bought this place in October. I don't think I noticed it then. I think it was the beginning of this last summer. And I walked up there and was like, oh, wow, there used to be a window there. There it is. Once again, they didn't do away with the window. They just, come inside and put paneling over top of it. So I'm rambling on. So that's usually time for me to say goodbye. But anyways, that window is long gone. The other window on the other side, I did away with. They kind of did. They had an air conditioner permanently put in it. So there wasn't no light coming through it. I had to do away with that window because I added on that side of the mobile home on the outside, which I'll show you eventually. And then there was a window in the hallway. I don't know if you can see that light switch. I'll try to zoom. See that light switch right there? There was a window to the left of that, about where that shadow starts. And I had to do away with that because once again, I'm added on to from approximately to the right of that TV all the way down to the back of the trailer. I think I ended up with 20, 30, about 35 foot of an add-on. So that was a lot. And here I am making you dizzy again. And I'm sorry about going on and on and on. I promise you this will turn out to look good. I did not need to replace that down there at the bottom, but I did. And I went ahead and skimmed it over. I'll wipe it down with a wet sponge here in a couple hours. It'll look great. I won't have to sand. I won't have to put dust all through the house that I am trying to live in. So, and then I'm texturing over top of it anyways. So it's going to look good. And I think today, it is 15 after 6 a.m. and I've been up all night. So I'm going to take a little bit of a nap. And when I get up, I'm going to build my wall, which I have to go look at my measurements and figure it out. But I think the cabinet wall is coming over to here, so I'm going to have to move this plug. Well, I'm going to leave this plug in here because I have a cordless handheld vac that I use quite a bit. And it's great for it to be in this closet being charged. That's the 4 holes you see here. But I think I'll just kind of fish another wire through here and come in here somewhere, beside of it, same height, and that way my refrigerator can plug in there. And once again, I know a lot of it that I'm doing doesn't make any sense to you right now, and my work really looks shoddy. I know, I see it. But I promise you, when I'm done, it'll look the best that it can possibly look. And I did go get my new register covers today. I had to pay, I bought them at a local hardware store, so I had to pay about $5 or $6 more than what they are. I may end up getting rid of this one. Man, and I'll be done by the time I get these uploaded. I kind of wish I could upload it now and get some of your advice. I've never seen this small of a room with 2 registers. And this register here, the refrigerator actually sticks out some over top of it. I would show you with my feet, but I don't have any shoes on. And hey, look, I'm a hillbilly, man. I got spackling on my toes and the whole 9 yards. The floor is dirty. I need to mop it, but I'm not going to do that until I texture the walls and paint. It doesn't, I mean, I just need it to be halfway clean. I will actually bleach it and everything because I'm laying laminate over top of it, but I know what's underneath of it. So I want it bleached. And I actually have enough tiles to finish running there before I put my laminate down. But I want you to look at this. Look at the kind of workmanship that these people do. Nobody even tries. People, if you're going to do something, now one thing I can guarantee you, this was never a rental. In these mobile home parks around here, you have to own your own mobile home. You're not allowed to rent. This was never lived in. I assume that part. I know it was never rented. I assume that it's never been lived in year round. So if you can afford this as your summer home, yeah, the trailer's not worth much, but you had to pay lot rent, upkeep, and everything like that. Spend a little bit of money and get somebody to do the work right. It'll benefit me on down the line when I buy it. But anyways, we're going to just wrap it up really quick because I'm rambling. And I just watched about 64 people log off of this. That was just a joke. But I'd log off. I wouldn't want to hear me talk all the time. So today we're going to do the other cabinet wall. Can't do the door yet until I get the laminate down because I'm putting in a pendulum door, bifold door. And then I think we're going to work on the solid oak cabinet doors that go up here. The 4 doors or solid maple, whatever they are. And then I think we're going to take all the trim pieces off and on the ceiling and go ahead and get them pre-done, filled with spackling, or I use the tape, the mesh tape right here. Maybe go ahead and do that because everything down here's got mesh tape on it. So, like I said, once again, I've already said this about 45 times. I'm rambling, so I'm going to go. I just wanted to show you the progress. I'm glad I got it done. If you like the video, hit the like, subscribe, follow, whatever it is that you do. I promise to come back with some more, and I will have some tutorial videos and showing you how to texture the walls and stuff like that. I didn't show you this, I didn't even know what I had to do because it was so rigged. But I did it the best that I can, and I will show you the finished product, and you'll say, oh, okay, now I see what he was trying to do. So there we go. And once again, I'm doing everything low budget. These are trim pieces. I didn't sand them. I will lightly sand before I paint. And I did dock the corners off because, like right here, that is right eye level with me. And not that I will ever be right up against that wall, but I can see me hitting myself with that. Somehow, some way, moving a table, moving a refrigerator, doing something. So I did knock them off just a little bit. So I'll lightly sand those without causing too much dust. And here we go rambling again. So anyways, peace. Merry Christmas to all of you that's already gone. And soon we will have Happy New Year's. I hope I didn't offend anybody by saying that. And if I did, sorry. Bye.